Before that, made by TVS for the region, Fred Dinenage explores a game of kings and princes.
Don't forget the wonderful final you have tomorrow, the home side of Cowdrey Park versus Hilton House. What a match. What a day. Has he put it through? No, he's put it wide. And a round of applause for Tenora. Quick as a flash, up on his feet, on his horse, and back into action. Not a game for sissies, as you can see. This is a man's game. And by golly, there's 8 of them out there now.
Cowdrey Park in Sussex, the home of English polo. And on a hot Saturday afternoon, no one seems more at home here than Terry Hanlon, commentator extraordinaire to royalty and public alike. This is Gold Cup week, the Wimbledon or Ascot of polo, where you don't have to be rich to play the game, but it might help if you've got £500,000 handy.
The fascination is like driving round Hyde Park Corner in a Mini. You're flat out, you're with 4 other guys, the camaraderie, you're all playing polo together, you're in action, the battle is on, and you get this wonderful feeling of unison with the other guys playing against another team. It's war at the time, and it's magic, absolute magic.
He's put it through! That was something to see, to be believed.
Terry Hanlon, a player and coach, runs stables near Cowdrey Park. So how did he become the commentator with a magic microphone?
Oh, absolutely. It started off with a marvellous afternoon with a wonderful polo manager we had here called Bolshy Tatham. One day, the commentator that was here was on holiday or something, just hadn't bothered to turn up. And he turned to me, he said, "Hanlon, you got plenty to say, get up there on the machine." And I went up on the machine and by a miracle, by luck, by magic, it worked. I did the commentary and I was quite surprised myself.
Keep playing! Don't put your stick in the air! Play till the whistle blows! Tick, tick, fish, chips, sausages, chicken, everything in the pan.
I am a polo player, I'm a polo coach. I, if you like, know what I'm talking about, and I deliver that to the public, hopefully in a very exciting and entertaining, humorous way. If it requires humour. If it's a dull match, I try to be a little bit humorous.
Thomas the scorer comes through. Here he goes, and there comes Big H at 90 miles an hour. Look at that! Look at that! Dynamite stuff from that blue side there.
It's said that you're Princess Diana, the Princess of Wales's favourite commentator.
I believe that, yes, I think so, because I think when she comes to polo, I don't think it's a secret that I don't know whether she enjoys watching so much, but I have been told that she does enjoy the commentaries, which make it more exciting for her and more entertaining.
It's also said that the people at Windsor were a bit horrified by your style of commentary.
Well, I don't think it necessarily was my style. I think it was the way I spoke maybe then. I spoke a bit like that, probably like that. Probably I speak better now than I did, or than I used to. But I think when they first heard my commentary, which was a bit mid-Atlantic, a bit more excited, and they're going down the field, he's hit the ball under the neck, rather than, oh, they've just hit the ball under the neck, and he's not quite got his pony balanced, just as they were scoring it. I think they've scored. I think it was a difference to that. Now I give them a sort of World Cup football polo commentary. They're going and they're going to score, and England are on the move, that kind of thing. And I don't think they were quite ready for it. I hope they like it now. It's about scoring goals, it's about having right of way, it's having the line of the ball and pass into one another. It's very, very similar to football. I mean, you have to pass the ball, you have the right of way by the line of the ball. This is the basic principle of the game. We change ends every time a goal is scored, unlike football where they change at half-time. Chukkers is an Indian word, a period of time. It's a period of time. It's 7 minutes, 30 seconds. And we play for 7 minutes, 30 seconds, and then we change the horses. The pony is always more important than the player. The players, we got dozens of. It's ponies that we're short of. We're short of good ponies. We always put the pony first. The pony comes first. It isn't cruel in any way whatsoever. The ponies love it. They go on to 20, 25 years of age. I've seen ponies playing that are 23 and really giving a good account of themselves.
It's said that you deliberately choose the most attractive girls as your grooms. Is that true?
Well, attractive girls are always very nice to look at, obviously, and they all seem to be very nice to work with. They're very nice temperament, they got the right disposition, they're nice to the horses, which is very, very important. Happy yards, happy horses, happy grooms make for very, very good polo and makes a very happy atmosphere for everyone.
Is it just a rich man's sport?
No, not at all. There are rich men in every team. There's one rich man in every team and three, as I said to you, poor men who can hit the ball, can ride, can play, and the rich, who are very, very busy, naturally earning the money, come down at the weekends to play, and they want to win. So they try to get the best team they can in action with them to play polo. Where else could you get an audience after you're 45 and fat, where people will come and actually pay to watch you play with your team? Nowhere. This is the place you come, to polo.
Come on, Caroline, come on. Come on.
They have a special quality that's something you can't even believe. They've got a lovely temperament. They've got a marvellous disposition. They were designed to be ridden on. I mean, you wouldn't say a crocodile was designed to be ridden on, but they were. They're absolutely perfectly shaped.
Keep going, canter, canter, canter. To canter, come in behind me. Come in behind me now. There's the ball, go for it. Too late, go for it now, go for it.
Stick and ball is something that the polo professionals and people who are with polo have to do every day, like you knock up in tennis, and you have to practice 3 or 4 times a week before you play matches.
Out the saddle, you're topping it. Leave it, leave it, leave it.
This is a game of kings and princes. You actually feel good on a horse. You get a feeling of power. You've got this fantastic big animal between you. You feel like a king when you play.
The Park House Hotel near Cowdray Park. It's run by Ione O'Brien, and it's home to polo players and their families during the season.
The first polo team that came here was the old Argentine team called Espadania in 1951. I think that was the first foreign team to come here, and then of course they kept coming thick and fast.
Ione's picture gallery is a monument to the game's most famous players.
A great many famous players, yes. For instance, the Crusaders, who are now the 2 of the best tenors in the world, their father stayed here. So, I mean, I'm getting the sort of second generation, and before long it'll be the grandchildren. I have got a whole frame of Raja Hanut Singh, who was one of the greats. I've now got all the French staying. They've been with me now for coming 3 years, I think, or is it 4? And they've got a family team, which is rather fun. When I went back to India from school, I went up country, joined my parents, and then I started watching polo because all the planters played very enthusiastic polo against the local cantonments, army and businessmen, everybody. It was great fun, polo, not serious, but some very good polo. In the big tournaments in Calcutta, of course, there were thousands of people used to go. But up with us in the up country, I mean, the villagers and everybody used to turn up to watch. In the old days, they wore pith helmets, which was known as a topi. The grounds in India were very, very much harder than here, and very much faster and dusty. The bugler was there to bugle the end of a chukka and to blow for the beginning of the next chukka. It was from India that we brought polo to Europe. Personally, I think it's the most wonderful game to watch. I mean, you get the combination of a horse and a man. And for instance, here in the most perfect surroundings. I mean, I can't think what anybody else can want. I've always loved watching it, always. Cowdrey was the first big club to start up in England. I mean, he was responsible for getting the ball rolling. These players keep ponies, and for about 3 weeks of the year, they don't get any sort of polo because all the big boys are playing in the Open Championship. So I thought, why not make their chuckers into a tournament, which is what we do. And they give their names to the polo manager, and he makes up the teams, and they play a league. And I think they enjoy it. And we have a little cup and a presentation and everything.
Yeah, run him over.
Thank you very much.
Winner, Ralph Omar.
Delighted. All right, mind the top shot.
Ban him.
Oh, wait a minute, you've got to have a joy.
Is it possible, Lord Cowdrey, for you to explain what to you is the magic of polo?
Well, yes, it's a very, very exciting game to play. I mean, it brings up the adrenaline a lot, and it's quite frightening too at times.
Polo at Cowdrey Park really all started here on the house ground. When you look back to those days, could you possibly have imagined how the sport was going to grow?
It has become very popular. It's an expensive game to play, but nobody seems to mind what they spend on it. And, of course, it's much more serious now than it used to be. We haven't won it since 1962, although we've been in the final many times.
The exercise and care of the polo ponies is vital preparation. At Westerland Stables, Patrick Churchwood is resident horse vet as well as a polo player.
I'm really here to maintain their general health from the beginning of the season when we bring them in and worm them and vaccinate them and check their teeth for any rough edges. Basically, my main job is a preventative medicine job and to just make sure that the horses reach the peak, hopefully for the Gold Cup. I think it's quite unusual. I think altogether there's probably only about 4 or 5 full-time resident veterinary surgeons in polo setups. Every morning we start the exercise by taking them onto the track, and there we will, depending upon what the horses are doing, they'll either walk to loosen up and then go into trotting and cantering sessions. 3 or 4 times a week we have practice chuckers in the morning. This is part of their exercise routine and when they're fit. And the object of the exercise is really to get the horses playing gently, build up their stamina, obviously get the players fit as well. Chesney is a horse that was bought at Ascot Sales by David Morley and was brought on from a green horse that had done nothing apart from race. He was schooled over a sort of 2.5-year period and gradually brought into the game. And he obviously has talent, a lot of talent. We're quite happy with the fact that we've got one of the best horses in the world who performs very well when asked to do so. We bring them back to the stable yards, and after a hot day like this today, we'll hose them down, scrape them down. I think they seem to enjoy that. And then obviously they're fed and watered and put in the stable. But quite often these horses go out twice a day. I don't think it's a cruel sport at all. I think people get very funny ideas about polo, probably without understanding it fully. Most of the horses that you'll see playing love the sport, otherwise they wouldn't be playing the game. They sort of would throw it in at a much earlier age and become stubborn or mulish, and you can't play polo on horses that don't like it.
Carlos Gracida is here from Mexico, one of the world's top 6 players.
When you start at any sport, you would like to be one of the best in the world. And to be considered one of the best is a great pleasure. It's a feeling that every sport has, the speed. And polo is one of the fastest sports you can play in the world. And it has both things, mainly it's the horses and speed of the game, which is a very big thrill for any sport. It's not nothing to do with the social jet set or like a lot of people think that it's a sport that you go to parties every night and you go out every night. It's nothing to do with that at the level that we play. Since you get up in the morning 8:30, you go and check your horses, ride your own your horses, train them. You have to practice yourself hitting the ball. You have to practice with the team to make the team go well. It's growing faster than any other country in the world. And having Prince Charles playing polo, I think, is a great help for the sport because he's a great gentleman and a great example of a sportsman.
Ground preparations continue for the big day. Father and son team, Bob and Michael Etherington, are responsible for making sure the 9 pitches used during Gold Cup week are up to standard. The grass is cut, rolled and watered every morning. And the goalposts go up in readiness. The main pitch at Cowdray Park is regarded by many players as the best in Europe, and this relentless preparation is just one of the reasons why. Writer Gilly Cooper's here to watch the matches, all part of her observation for her latest novel on polo.
I just think it's a beautiful game. It's a very volatile game. There are lots of elements. The people are charming. I mean, I've done books on show jumping, books on television, books on all sorts of things, but I've never met a nicer crowd than the polo people. They are sweet.
Is your book going to shock the polo world?
No, I don't think so at all. It's rather mild compared with what goes on, I think. I think it's a very pro-polo book. I mean, I think, you know, you do get bad hats in polo. I mean, the first game I saw there was a poor umpire, and there were 4 players circling round and round, yelling abuse at him, waving their sticks at him. And I mean, this is polo because they get so fired up on the field, but they're all friends when they get off it.
Do you think it is an elitist sort of sport?
No, I don't. I mean, I think obviously you get the patrons who are very rich, and it becomes a drug for them, and they you know, want to go on doing it. But I think for the players, there's a lot of hardship because you're only as good as your last 3 games. If you're a professional, you might get dropped in the middle of the season. And I think for the young players, you know, you have to give up your holiday off and sort of work all day and then do your ponies in the evening to survive at all. I don't think as a sport it's elitist at all.
Much is made about the sexual side of polo, the alleged sexual side. Is it a sexy sport?
I think the point about polo is there is something about a sort of lean, wonderful body with the shoulders twice as big as the hips, you know, and these wonderful tight boots and chocolate brown eyes and black sort of tendrils curling on a suntanned forehead that turns English women to absolute jelly. And the Argentines come over and they just absolutely clean up, and I think that's quite jolly. Everybody locks up their daughters, but you know, it does add a bit of excitement.
I'm looking forward to the book. I think the whole of polo is in trepidation about it, but you said...
It's all right, it's promised, it's quite safe. I mean, they're all worried about the sex too. But, you know, I mean, it's not... I'm sure there's more sex in polo than there is in my book.
It's early on Sunday morning, and a lone rider gets ready for the big match. Cowdray Park versus Hildon House from Berkshire. In just 5 hours' time, the ground will be crammed to capacity with 6,000 people, all dressed in their Sunday best for the occasion.
The one and only Paul Withers, the back door of Cowdray Park for 20 years. Juan Barriola, Thomas Oscura, Charles Pearson, umpire Carlos Cressida. Here they are! They're in the final! Give them a cheer! They've got to win it! As you can see, I'm not biased.
There's 5,000 or 6,000 people coming to see the finals of this cup. Everybody's there. The audience is in front of me. I have a marvellous match to commentate. I only hope it's going to be tight. If I get that and everybody's there, they've had the lunch, they've had the champagne, they've had the picnic, they're there, I'm there, the polo's there. Wonderful.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, into the first sucker. Let's hear you. Bring it on.
The pony lines are something where the girls go down there, they tie the ponies up. There's 6 ponies for each player. You ride out on the ponies, play the game. When you come back in, the girls are there. They undress the pony, they wash him, scrape him off, put a sweat rug on him, get him all ready to go home, then you play the next one. They're a very, very important part of polo. They're like the girls who used to pack the parachutes for the guys who jump out of the aeroplanes.
Cowdray Park have got off to a bad start. They trail after the first chukker, but there are signs of a great comeback. Now it's half-time.
Treading in is an old traditional thing that people do at polo that started off many, many years ago in India where they started. They used to have people come out on the ground and tread the divots in to make it easy for the game, for the ball to run. And that's part of polo. It's part of the tradition. You go out and tread in for, I think, 3 minutes, and people chat and talk about the game, talk about their aches and pains, talk about the washing, take the dogs for a walk out onto the ground, you know. And there's a lot of people who just go to polo in the afternoons probably to have an afternoon out and a little walk, treading and a talk.
Meanwhile, back in the box, Terry gets down to business.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the penalty shot here.
Winners with the ball, Cowdray Park. Look at that, big ice comes out with an orange vision. There goes Howard, there goes the high line. Looks like the Superman. There goes the nose. There goes Howard.
It's now all square at 9 each. An extra chukker must be played. The tension rises. Now it's sudden death. The first to score wins.
He's coming through, takes it on the near side.
There comes Hipwood. Hipwood's gone. He's going all the way, Howard Hipwood. He's hit the next shot. It's 9-all. And the ball, it's going to run wide. It ran wide. The Cowdray breed a sour relief.
Cowdray Park haven't won the Gold Cup for 28 years. And when the winning goal comes, it brings disappointment for the home side.
And he scores! Thomas Chirecki scores the winning goal for Hilton House on the roads of Cowdray Park this afternoon. Winners of the Cowdray Park Davidoff Gold Cup to Hilton House, 10-9.
The most coveted trophy in the world, Cowdray Park, the Davidoff Gold Cup. Tommy Girardi scored the winning goal. The wonderful Paul Withers.
Paul Withers, it was a tremendously exciting game, but obviously bitterly disappointing from your point of view.
It was for many reasons, because, well, in fact, this is my 24th year playing for Cowdray, and Lord Cowdray, who's been kind enough to have me and has run this team all these years, has had so many opportunities, and you can't get any closer than we got today, and therefore it is absolutely shattering, yes.
But your feelings today clearly are with Lord Cowdray, who so badly would like to win this prize.
Very, very much so. He's just been the most wonderful person to play for. Anytime you win, he's over the moon, and anytime you lose, there's never a word of criticism. It's bad luck. You tried your hardest, and next time. He's just the greatest sportsman there ever was.
Forward comes the Gold Cup with the champagne.